Hi everyone, good morning. So for today, the John Maxwell reflection from A Leader's Heart. It's on helping your people to grow. And growing people it's about thinking about them, thinking about what you can teach them, what you can help them with. So for example, with me, I post my cooking videos. And there's a lot of people, even when I joined the HRPA calls, some of the lawyers thought I was a chef. I'm not a chef. So, I mean, it's a compliment that they think that, but no, I have not had any skills or training at a school on how to cook. I taught myself. I use cookery books, and I share it with other immigrants because there's a lot of immigrants that benefit from watching my videos. And there's a lot of people who are in my age group that will probably enjoy learning new things, trying different things when it comes to homemaking. So that's why I share them. I was quite surprised to hear that actually from people following me, but no, I'm not a chef. I'm a spiritual director and I'm an executive assistant, but I haven't worked as an executive assistant in Canada since 2007 because the way I do things and the way I am, people in Canada don't like. So I look after my executives. I take good care of them and they don't like it. Like even little things like meeting somebody at the door, bringing them in, those are things that I take care of as an executive assistant. They don't like it. They want to do it themselves. So I haven't worked in that profession, which I've been trained in under UK standards since 2007, because the culture here is different. But when it comes to helping people to grow, the scripture that John Maxwell gives is Luke 9, 1-2. He called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all demons to cure diseases. He sent them to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. So when we're talking about going out in any organization, wherever we work, people are hiring us to solve problems, to hopefully bring forward our ideas, to help to make things better and to improve things. When we think about, curing diseases and having authority over demons, it doesn't necessarily mean like doing an exorcism like the Catholic priests do, or, curing disease like the doctor does. That could be part of it, but it's not always that. So when I look at my teams, when I look at things, because I have managed teams before, there are different approaches that we can take, even with our ministry work. We have small groups that meet. We meet at least once a month, and then we give feedback to each other on what worked, what didn't work, learning about responsibilities. And we build small teams of learners, and then those learners teach other learners when new people come in. That's the way we do it in any organization, whether it's volunteers or in a corporate world or a non-profit setting. We're passing down our knowledge. If we go on retreats, or we go on conferences to take the skills that we learned back to our organizations. We're not going there just to sit and learn it and then do nothing with it. That would be pointless. So when we're reading books, when we're listening to tapes, when we are, even with our music, sometimes it's nice to go back to the old music and compare it to the music that we have today, or even the artists, and to see the difference in how they do things and what was popular back then. We also get detours when we're trying to grow our teams. So how do we deal with that? Like when we have COVID coming up, or when we have the internet going down, because more and more now the internet's being attacked by cybersecurity, by gamma rays from the sun, and we rely on it heavily for our banking, for our work, for whatever we do. So many places are having backup generators put in, or we're having systems put in where things can work more efficiently. But we rely on it, and so how do we deal with it, especially places like hospitals, when the oxygen supply goes down? And for many of us, including me, when COVID hit, we didn't know what the future was going to be for us. So it was my suggestion to our manager. I said to him, can't they let us work at home? Because when it hit, they called us to a meeting and they said they're going to lay all of us off, most likely, because they won't be able to get permission for you to work from home. But then I said to them, well, they should try, because, I mean, we're doing an essential service work. They should be able to do something. So for my company, that's how they went out and they got it. But we have to look at the detours in our lives and see if something's not working, if something's not going the way we want, look at other opportunities. And for me as an executive assistant, I went into project management, and then I went into anti-money laundering. I liked anti-money laundering, but unfortunately they didn't hire me in that. I also got to touch on working on immigration. So when people were relocating, I helped to research and find out what the laws were, what the visas were. So I got to do that as well. Did I like moving around and taking all these small contracts? No, I didn't. If I had my way, I would have stayed at TD and built a career there, or one of the other places I worked at. But that's not how it turned out for me. And when you're a woman and you're on your own, it's very unnerving, it's very jarring. You have to go in, you have to meet new people, you have to get to know new personalities. So for me, it wasn't exciting. And I'm not surprised that Jesus called men to go with him on his travels, because who wants to be in a place where you don't have a home of your own? You don't have a place to lay your head. You don't know where you're going to be sleeping. I mean, maybe the men like it, I don't know. But for me, I didn't like it. I like to have my own home to come home to. If I'm doing ministry work, I still like to have my own home to come to. And I help in the church, I do other things. But I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy any of it, because every time I thought, okay, this is going to be a stable opportunity. I'm going to be able to stay here. I've come in highly recommended, and they let me go. So it's soul destroying. But you have to take the detours and you have to carry on moving forward. And after all, the way the world is going today, we could have a flood. Look how quickly those waters came up in Texas, in New Mexico. And some of these messages that are coming out on the internet are saying that the water, it's just going to start coming up from the ground, because the earth is changing. The earth was spinning slower than it is today. It's starting to spin faster again. So we don't know. It might be here today and gone tomorrow. That water rose so quickly in New Mexico, people didn't even have time to leave to evacuate. There's floods in Spain. There's earthquakes in China. All over the world is changing. So we have to deal with what is in our control, because the other things we can't control. And whatever we can control, we try to control that. But it is very difficult, especially if you're in a secular culture that doesn't believe in putting God first, that doesn't see the point in giving you Good Friday off, or your Easter or your Christmas, where the business needs come first, not the people. It is difficult. But we press forward, we move on, and as we grow, we help our teams to grow. So that was the message, what I got from it, and I'm using my own life examples to help people. When we have shared experiences and the give and take of communication, that's where the growth comes. If it's only one person communicating and there's no response, that's not a relationship, and no growth can happen in that relationship. It's the same as if I email Father Peter Knox in South Africa and he doesn't reply to me. There's no growth there. That's not a relationship anymore. But because he makes time, he writes to me. He writes me long emails, so I know what he's doing, where he's going. I know where the challenges are in South Africa with the Jesuits. That helps me because I don't do that much with the Jesuits here, but I keep that relationship with them in South Africa so that I know, because maybe one day the opportunity will come for me to go back and to do something with them. So that's the way I look at it, and that's the way I approach it. It's the same with my parish, with Father Larry. We are fortunate. We have a lot of volunteers in the parish. So we have a lot of readers. I haven't read for a long time now. But if that's not where they need me, that's what I like to do, and that's what Father Larry likes me to do. But I don't know when they're going to put me on the roster again. I also like to be on the altar when Father Larry is the celebrant, because some of the priests don't like how I do things, and it becomes a big issue for them. But because I've been with Father Larry a long time, he likes how I do things. So it gives me that level of comfortableness with him. And I used to do that for Father Peter Taroni downtown at the Newman Center. I didn't do anything with Father Mark. He didn't ask me to do anything. And I used to do it at St. Basil's when I used to go to church. So that's where the relationship comes in. If there's no communication, there's no relationship. That's basically it. Even with our John Maxwell calls, when we have our calls, at the end of the call, you have an opportunity for Q&A. So we can ask our questions, we can interact with the person presenting. Otherwise, it just becomes a lecture. It just becomes like, this is like what I'm doing. People can go on, they can learn from it and take whatever they want from it. But this is not the ideal. The ideal is to have small groups, to meet face to face, to have communication. And that's what I've been trying to do for a long time. I've been trying to get the sisters to incorporate, like take me into their teams, or Deacon Bill, or somebody that has something. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So now I'm doing my John Maxwell this way, and my reflections and my scriptures, and uploading them onto YouTube so that people can learn from what I have to offer. Because I don't want to die knowing that I know all this, I have all this knowledge, all these skills, and I didn't pass it on to anyone. Because when I get to heaven, I want to be able to say, look, Lord, I tried. They didn't give me the opportunity, but at least I know I tried. That's what I want to be able to say. So that's the reflection for today, and it's on helping your people grow.